Carlos Sainz moving to Williams was probably one of the most unfair things that happened in F1, but with Hamilton wanting to join Ferrari, there weren't many people other than the team boss who would have said no to this racing legend. Now that Sainz has helped Ferrari climb to where they are right now, can he bring that same winning energy to Williams? Early signs show he can be really good there. So what other things are going to help the Williams team besides having a driver who knows how to win races? It's clear that Williams got a really amazing driver in Carlos Sainz. You don't need to be super smart to know that he's won for races. When he was teammates with Leclerc, he was only 0.03 seconds slower than him. His speed in races and qualifying laps are pretty good. In 2024, the Spanish driver even finished better in races on average compared to his teammate. This shows that he's nowhere near ready to retire and is still hungry to race with Williams. What really hurts Ferrari is that they're losing their 18-year partner Santander Bank. Everyone knew from the start that the Spanish bank would follow the four-time race winner to Williams. The Williams team has gotten a lot of money now, while the team boss saying that his team has the best driver lineup for 2025 might be a bit much. If we look at all the other teams except the top three, Williams does have the skills to fight in the middle group sooner than later. Obviously, Sainz's mission is easy: prove to Ferrari that they made a mistake letting him go and that he could have been the next champion, or at least the best teammate Leclerc could have had at Ferrari when fighting for championships. Yes, situations like the one in Vegas show otherwise, but Sainz was driving his own race. We can't forget that his own engineers did him dirty too, asking to come into the pit for quite some time, and when he finally came in, the crew wasn't ready. But that's all in the past now. What we can think about is whether or not Sainz made the right choice to go to Williams. This isn't really a big discussion because if we look at the other options, they didn't really exist in the first place. The only other choice that made sense for the Spanish driver was the Audi project. But seeing how Sauber was doing badly, Sainz thought it would be better to join a project like Williams. He wants to show the world that his smart decisions and believing in himself is what brought him those 4 wins at Ferrari, along with good on-track situations and strategy that he asked for himself quite a lot. This is why Sainz's expectations with Williams are pretty realistic. We all know that 2025 is going to be a learning year for the Williams team, but with the money secured from Santander and more wind tunnel time because Williams dropped from 7th to 9th place in the team standings compared to last year, Sainz believes that once the new rules start, he can fight for podiums and race wins. Much more often to say that any other team is going to put money into their car rather than the top 3 is a bit unrealistic, because everyone is focused on the new rules. But that doesn't mean we won't see a tough battle going on in the lower positions too. When talking about this, Sainz said, "I am as determined as ever to help Williams get back to where it belongs. I personally feel like I belong fighting for wins, podiums, and top 5 finishes in Formula 1. I've proven it these last 4 years as a Ferrari driver. But Williams also belongs to be fighting for these top 5 and podium places, and together with the determination and strength that we're going to show, the goal is to get Williams and myself to fight for those positions in the near future." Hamilton or Leclerc, Sainz has shown a lot of growing up in the process of switching teams. Even though there were some fights between him and Ferrari, the Spanish driver admitted that it's pretty easy to understand why Ferrari made the move they did and why they replaced him. Any other team would have done the same thing, and there are no angry feelings about it. What's more interesting is that Sainz has left the door open for a possible Ferrari return sometime in the future, but his mind is focused on making Williams a strong team now, which with Albon as his teammate is not that crazy of an idea either. We do know that Audi should struggle in their first couple of years, as the team boss admitted, so this could help open the door for the Williams team to use the Mercedes engines and gearboxes to the maximum and maybe even surprise the front teams a little bit from time to time. What is certain is that Sainz himself doesn't know how much time it's going to take him to achieve what he believes is the bigger picture for him and Williams. But what he can confirm is that the team is super motivated. Going into more detail about this, Sainz added, "I don't think you guys understand how motivated I am and how much I'm looking forward to the challenge of bringing Williams back to where they belong. That is one of my qualities to help a team perform better and know which direction to follow." Yes, we do know that Sainz felt a little bit sad because he won't be part of Ferrari now that they have a real chance to fight for the World Championship. But again, he was a key part of making that happen. While everything was mainly about Leclerc, we can't forget the input that the 4-time race winner had on the Ferrari team. I'm going to remind you of a couple of races in 2022, Monaco and Silverstone, just so you can see how a driver can call his own strategy and make it work in his favor. This isn't something that Leclerc or Hamilton can say about themselves. Unfortunately, Sainz doesn't rely too much on the data given and can make on-track decisions in a split second. This can prove to be super important when you're fighting for the lower positions and trying to get points. This is why Sainz might be one of the smartest drivers on the grid. More often than not, we've seen him calling his own tactics. And this will be crucial for Williams because it could mean the difference between finishing 9th and 6th in the team championship. Obviously, the goal is to fight for podium finishes, sooner rather than later. But I think we both know that Sainz and his new team understand the situation they're in and how impossible that's looking. From this point of view, Williams has already given up part of the 2025 car development to focus on 2026, so to say that they are expecting great things from the upcoming season in terms of big changes is definitely unrealistic. But the tire test in Abu Dhabi has shown that Sainz might be able to get points consistently from the car if he manages to get comfortable and familiar with the car. Of course, a lot of pressure will be put on Albon as well because the Thai driver has been able to beat Sargent. But when the rookie Colapinto started getting close, it was immediately needed for Alexander to improve to prove that he is the superstar that Williams signed back in 2022. Either way, he's excited to hear the feedback that Sainz will have on the FW46, the 2024 car, from the laps he drove in the Abu Dhabi circuit. He set the second fastest time, which was the first for quite some time before it was beaten by his old teammate Leclerc. Talking about it more, Albon said, "Truthfully, I didn't have too much contact with Sainz. I wish I could say more. But I think obviously once Abu Dhabi happens, firstly I'll be very keen to hear his feedback on the car during the test and see where his head is at compared to Ferrari. I think obviously he will have a very fresh mind of driving the Ferrari and then coming into Williams where our strengths are, where are our weaknesses." But even Albon himself knows that Sainz will bring a lot of value to Williams. When continuing to praise his new teammate, who is by the way a huge threat for Albon's spot in Williams, the Thai driver said, "One of the things I'm looking forward to most with Carlos joining us. I remember my time at Red Bull and when I came to Williams. And obviously there are a lot of things on your mind, things you want to try and improve for the team. At the same time, I've spent now 3 years at Williams, and it's nice to almost have someone a little bit fresher than me and coming from a team like Ferrari. I'm sure he will bring a lot to the table. Of course, I know he will push me. I think he had a very strong year in 2024 as well, but it will be a good challenge." With all of this in mind, do you think that Sainz will make a massive difference in Williams from 2025 onwards? And if so, do you think the big change in the Williams team is well underway as they're trying to fight for race wins and podiums sooner rather than later with the best lineup, as the team boss labeled his drivers to be on the grid? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to know more about the 2024 Abu Dhabi tire test aftermath, make sure to go and click on the video that appears on your screen right now.